call to order the regular session school committee meeting for Tuesday, May 5th. That will be held by Zoom, audio, video conferencing. Those attending tonight's meeting should be aware that the meeting is being audio and video recorded by ASRSD. Any audience members who wish to record any part of the meeting must inform the chair, who will announce the recording. This is to comply with the Mass Wiretap statute. The listing of matters, those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Can I have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
We have a flag.
Pledge allegiance to the
The
flag
of the
of
United States of America,
and
and
to the republic
for
which
which it
stands,
stands,
one
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty.
liberty,
and
and
justice
justice for all.
Michelle, will you call the roll for us, please?
Yeah. Mr. DeForge,
Hello, I'm here.
Mrs. Granger,
Here.
Mr. Leone,
Here.
Mr. Quinty,
Here.
Mrs. Reshoots,
Here, please.
Mrs. Simmons.
All right. Is there any public participation concerning any items on our agenda tonight? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to our consent agenda, which tonight will include the approval of the April 15th, 2020 regular session minutes for release, the approval of the April 15th, 2020 executive session minutes not for release, and a warrant memo. Hold on one second. That is dated May 1st, 2020. That includes accounts payable warrant 1144, dated April 17th, 2020 for $504,233.48 for the biweekly AP warrant. And payroll warrant 22, dated April 24th, 2020 for $690,234.31 for the fiscal year 20 biweekly payroll. I will entertain a motion for approval of our consent agenda tonight.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Okay, so we're going to move on to new business, which is the memorandum of agreement during remote learning. Dr. Malone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You have the MOA in your packets or in your drive. I'm wondering if you had a chance to look it over. Thanks for calling it up, Mike. Mike, if you could scroll down a little, please. So this agreement is memorandum of understanding or agreement, MOA, MOU, however we want to use, covers the period of the COVID-19 school closure, which will run through June 30th. Bullet 2 says that the period teachers will engage in remote learning in accordance with term of this agreement. The district's remote learning plan is set forth in the document. So the next few, we have the document that was provided to teachers at the start in remote learning, and then some of the bullets that from that document that both parties, teachers will provide academic content to students for a minimum of 3.5 hours per day, Monday through Friday. As you saw in one of the parental guidance documents that I sent out, it lessens that amount of time for elementary and kindergarten students. Teachers shall establish weekly learning goals and consider organizing educational plans on a weekly basis. Learning should be a combination of teacher-directed and student-directed virtual learning and assignments where applicable, and to the extent practical, teachers should provide feedback on student work remotely. And then there's the learning expectations, so that's where it clarifies pre-K, complete 1 to 2 hours a day. Kindergarten, elementary, and grades 1 through 5 should complete 2 to 3 hours of remote learning each day, and then students grades through 6 should complete approximately 3 to 4 hours of learning each day. And this plan covers, so on April 7th, as you know, there's been several phases. We had phase 1, which was enrichment activities. Phase 2 was basically always about student connection and student mental health, their well-being and safety. But in phase 2, which began on April 7th, we shifted to reinforcing standards that had been taught prior to the closure through March 13th. And then if you go down to the next bullet, Mike, teachers are encouraged to utilize a variety of instructional resources, both synchronous and asynchronous in their instruction. Synchronous meaning live, and asynchronous meaning recorded, if you will, and not live. Teachers are required to hold office hours for 2 hours per week, and they need to be available via email, telephone, or virtual meeting. And they're encouraged to schedule these times in both the morning and the afternoon in order to accommodate the schedules of parents. And should they need additional time, they can work out the times with the teacher that are convenient for both. Bullet number 3 is on the Schedule C stipends. So what we agreed to was that all stipends for responsibilities that were completed for the year by Tuesday, March 17th, would be paid in full. Stipends for responsibilities that are ongoing throughout the year and continue through the closure period will be paid in full. Stipends for responsibilities that are ongoing throughout the year and will continue will be prorated, and then stipends for spring athletic coaches may be unpaid, prorated, or paid in full, depending on the continuation of remote coaching during the closure. And we would work collaboratively to resolve any issues. So a lot of the Schedule C stipends have been paid, particularly for the coaches, depending on the season, the fall and the winter season. So I've been working with Mr. Plunkett and Athletic Director Steve Kendall and the principals through some of their positions, for example, a middle school student council advisor, a high school student council advisor. So we will, I think we're pretty close to agreement on those stipend positions, and we typically get them paid out, Bill, by the last pay period or the second to last pay period for this school year?
Yeah, by the second to last pay period.
Right, okay. On the educator evaluation, bullet 4, we agree to hold each other harmless in terms of compliance with the educator evaluation, and teachers will not be evaluated on their performance during this closure period. And nothing in this agreement will prevent the district from non-renewing a teacher without professional status in accordance with the law. And what we agreed to in the educator evaluation, teachers, so the first bullet repeats what's in number 4. Bullet number 2, first, second, third year teachers will retain ratings. So what we decided to do in the big picture was we were not going to continue with the educator evaluation process for the remainder of the school year. We felt that it would just really be a burden on teachers that are already learning, remote learning and staying in touch and so on. So what we agreed to was that, so first, second, and third year teachers are considered teachers with non-professional status, and they had a formative assessment this year, all of those teachers. So those ratings that they received will be their ratings for next school year. So whether it's exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, or unsatisfactory. And then for the next year, the teachers with professional teacher status will retain the ratings that were assigned for this school year. So for example, a teacher rated proficient in year 1 of a 2-year self-directed plan, beginning the 2021 school year, rated proficient they would still retain their proficiency rating, and they would be in year 1 of a 2-year plan. So many of the teachers this year, the majority of our teachers were rated proficient by their building administrators, and many of them would be put on what we call a self-directed 2-year plan. So if you are on a self-directed growth plan, year 1, you're going to remain on year 1 next year. And then the teachers will have the option to write new professional practice and student learning goals. They will not be required to submit artifacts or evidence. And then any employees who are on performance improvement or directed growth plans will have their timelines extended for the period of time for equal to the length of the closure. So, for example, a teacher may be on a plan, say it was for a year, and so we closed on March 13th. Those teachers would have the time from March 16th, so the close of the year, for that plan to be extended into the start of next school year, to give them parity in this whole process and be able to meet their goals. And teachers who have without professional status will continue to accrue their time towards their 3-year requirement during this closure. And number 5, if teachers are unable to work in a given day, shall follow the guidelines below. They will still follow the same process of using a sick day and letting their principal and families know. They have to still enter any sick day or personal days into our ASOP, which is our system that actually is our substitute system, but it speaks to our budget cent. So if I put in for a sick day, tomorrow it would transfer to budget cent in my account, and that day would be charged to my sick time. And number 6, they have to use all available means to maintain confidentiality. And number 7 addresses all educators are mandated reporters, and that this remains in effect, and they have to follow those reporting laws and guidelines. On bullet 8, obligates the district to provide teachers with the hardware and software necessary to perform their remote learning duties. Technology staff will be available to support teachers, and they would contact Mike Tebow, any technology issues. And number 9 is on communication, that the communication between teachers and students and parents should be only through school email and approved online platforms to post, deliver instruction, offer feedback. And teachers who are opting to use their personal cell phones have the option of using *67, so their number does not come up in a student's home, so they have that right to privacy. Bullet number 10 is provides teachers assistance with students who are not participating and such. They would refer those students to the building principal. And then number 11 addresses the grading system we have adopted for term 4 in trimester 3. So for term 4, grades 6 through 12, it'll be a pass-fail grade on the final report card. And then for elementary schools, we have making adequate progress or did not make adequate progress. And this really is an assessment of participation in remote learning, where the district is requiring all students to participate in remote learning, but we certainly understand that there are extenuating circumstances in personal situations for families, and we hope that any challenges or barriers that they have, or something could change tomorrow, that they communicate this to the teacher and or the principal. And then the last 2 bullets just cite that it'll stay in force and effect through June 30th. And bullet number 14, it shall not be used as a precedent or cited as practice as we move forward. So does anybody have any questions? Or the remote learning plan was approved 53-1. They had to put it to the membership for ratification, and 53 approved and 1 did not. Anybody have any questions?
I just have a quick question on, Mike, can you scroll down, please? Just keep going a little bit more. Keep going, keep going. It was the grading section. Yeah, and there was a number 11. What does, just out of curiosity, what's the last sentence have to do with procedure for building access? What does that have to do with grading?
This was quite important to the union, that we have a process for access to the building. As you know, the governor has closed all public buildings, and their teachers are allowed to enter the building for retrieval of any materials related to this distance learning or remote learning. Sometimes they are copying packets or such, so we have a process where they have to use hand sanitizer, and it gets reported to Bob Briggs, and then they have to stay in the area that they report they're going to, and then there's a deep cleaning or disinfecting of that area once that person exits the building.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I should say yes. Any other questions?
Just a quick question about the grading, and I'm sure this is written somewhere, but I've read so much from one school system to the next. When there is a pass-fail for those kids, it's grade 6 up, how does that affect their, or specifically for high school, how does that affect their grade point average, or does it for that term?
It's not going to.
It's not.
No,
Okay.
no, it's going to be based on the first 3 terms. So that has been all worked out, all of those details, and communicated to the teachers and the parents. Correct, Mrs. Granger?
Yes.
And Mr. Quinty, I think you received that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure I did, but like
Yeah.
I said,
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Simmons. Yes, yes. No, I understand. I understand. No, it's
because
I mean, I know the I'm sorry, go ahead.
it's just that where I work, they haven't made the decision yet, and so we've been looking at other school systems of, what are other school, and so I know the information came out, but I just can't keep one school system straight from another. So thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, and again, we have to approach this around equity, right? So what's equitable?
right.
Because if there are students or families that are not able to participate, or it's inconsistent, or there's a lot of factors that have to be considered for each family. So we didn't feel it would be fair or equitable to issue a letter grade.
Right.
The
Historical grade, I should say. I'm sorry, Joyce?
Massachusetts colleges gave the students the opportunity to either choose pass-fail for the rest of this year on their which they're doing remotely. So most of them are going to pick the pass-fail thing, I think. So it's carrying up into upper education also.
Yeah, and as far as UMass, you can pick it per class.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also an option. But
And we knew that higher ed was selecting this grading process, so we wanted to be in alignment with them too. And so when students, the current class, or all not the current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, they're going to have this on their transcript, if you will. In the end, they won't. But next year's seniors, higher ed recognizes that this is a unprecedented times, and that the grading system is not going to be the same as it has been in past years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems only fair that, as you're changing the format and you've had to do it on the fly, that some people are going to have an easier time adjusting than others. I think as a general fairness principle, you almost have to take this tack.
Right.
Yeah. This is true. Right. So, it's what's fair and what's equitable. 2 different things, right? Fair is equal. Equitable is access. Equal access.
Anyone else with any questions for Dr. Malone? All right. Thank you for your work with the ASRIA to get to this agreement. And hopefully we'll never see another one like this.
No. And thank you to you, Michelle, and to Mr. Plunkett.
All right, so we're going to move on to item B, approval of Keystone Collaborative Agreement, formerly known as FLAC. Dr. Malone.
Yeah, so FLAC has a new executive director. As you know, Richard retired, and the new director is a gentleman named John DeMonch. And we had a board meeting last Thursday, and I'm on the subcommittee for policy, and so I got to preview this and approve it for the full committee, and then it goes to the full committee like things here work. And so this has to be approved by a school committee. They changed the name from FLAC. It's now going to be known as Keystone Educational Collaborative. And if you scroll through the document, please, Mr. Tebow, any of the changes that were made, they're not significant. There was some, if you can you, so it's all around, their operation procedures. So a lot of the changes within the document, can you stop right here for a second, please? Mike, yeah, thank you, Mike. Are name changes from FLAC to Keystone. And just so everyone's aware, these are the district members: Ashburnham, Westminster, A. Shirley, Clinton, Fitchburg, Gardner, Leominster, Lunenburg, North Middlesex, Quabbin, West Boylston, and Winchendon. And one of the members, now this is last year was the first year, and it's been really an interesting experience and perspective. One of our members on the board is a school committee member from Ashburnham. So it's really good to have her perspective. And they do have some non-member districts that pay tuitions, but they don't have the same benefit as the member districts do. And this new executive director, he's really making some, some fabulous changes. And a lot of it is around, supporting districts with professional development and ABA services. He's going to put in a clinic, and he's really, working, building on a good program, and he's building on that. So if you want to continue down, Mike, I don't know if anybody has any questions. They changed their mission. Excuse me. So their purpose is to provide intensive educational programs and services for students with disabilities, to provide professional development to educators, to provide related services to students with disabilities in member and non-member districts, and to provide other high-quality, cost-effective services to meet the changing needs of member districts. So I don't know, the committee, I'm sure, had a time to look through it. I don't know if you have any specific questions about the document or.
So, Mary, you said he had made some changes. Can you think of one or two that stand out?
So with the high, the increase in students on the spectrum, an autism spectrum, he's really focused. He's actually, that would probably be his, that's in his toolbox. He's very strong and very knowledgeable. So he understands the need for ABA specialists, and he's hiring a director. So he's really focused on that programming. He's going to have this clinic that districts can access with different equipment in there for PT and OT. So those would be right off the top of my head, Joyce. Those are the programs he's strengthening. They've always existed at FLAC, but due to, like I said, the increase in students with autism and the need for services and the need for districts, even the students that we keep in district, he's strengthening his programming and professional development for the member districts, which we're all very pleased to hear, because we need that support. If you continue down a little bit, Mike, please. So here, Joyce, if you can see in here, he has public. So that we rent space to FLAC in our building, and so, again, public school day placements, those are the programs: high quality professional development for general and special educator, paraprofessionals, related service providers. They provide a 45-day extended evaluation. So sometimes when students are really struggling, whether it be, mostly around the social emotional piece, they'll go to Keystone for a 45-day, what we call evaluation, transportation of students, cooperative purchasing efforts. Actually, this was started under Richard. So we have cooperative purchase. So Interface, that's a cooperative purchase now that we've entered in with Keystone, and so we get better pricing. Ingenuity, which is our, we have an online program. It's called Ingenuity. They offer several courses. This is a cooperative through FLAC. FLAC is the lead on it. So he was working with these companies and getting us better pricing, pretty sharp. And then of course the home tutoring and ABA services and family support. If you want to continue down, please, Mike. And then this is all about the governance that he is, you're the executive director, and the way the board is structured. I am still the chair of the board for Keystone.
Dr. Malone, what's the distinction between the yellow highlight and the green?
I think that the green was just like typo, or just, that he has a capital C here. It's not significant. And then the yellow is representative of any changes or revisions or amendment of change in language.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. This is all about the membership and the conditions to be a member and what our obligations and responsibilities are. Talks about the board. If we don't attend the meetings, then we get reported. Powers and duties of the board. That the main function is to formulate policy and work in the finance, similar to school committees. Any new hires the board approves.
How many employees do they have now? What's their scope?
Joyce, I'm not.
I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'd have to get the exact number. I don't want to just put out a number out there, but they have quite a few employees. So I'll get back to you on that.
No, it's okay. I just, it's grown quite a bit. So, with the new member towns and stuff. So I was just curious. And do they still have that office and everything up there? On the way to the mount, on the way to Wachusett.
No. They've moved. They're in Shirley now.
Oh, they're in Shirley at the.
Yeah, on Shaker Road.
On Shaker Road? Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in that building there. Jim, what's the name of that building?
Nick's Park?
No.
Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix. Thank you. Yeah. Which was much better, where they were out in Ashburnham. Westminster. It was quite a hike when it first came on. Yeah, it was quite a. So this is all about the budget and amending the budget.
I think I went up to at least 1 or 2 meetings up there, so it was a long way. It was okay.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. Richard was happy to move the office back to this area. Then there's a procedure for meeting new member districts, which is something that is one of his goals, and so the board's very pleased with his vision and mission. And Richard was in the process of changing the logo and such. So, you get a new leader, and then the new leader builds on what the predecessor, and then of course would put their own stamp, of their style and vision on a business. So some of the things were something that Richard had started to do. And I think that one of the things is focus on public relations, and the name. The reason for the name change and the logo was to acquire more member districts and become more visible, so that they can grow their program. And these are all the superintendents that are here, and then from each district. And then Ellen Holmes, she's the school committee person. You may remember her speaking. Do you remember we went down to, I think it was a couple of years ago, we went down to Fitchburg and we presented on the budget? There was a panel. It was a few years ago. Jim, you came. She was one of the spokesperson. She's very, very bright. I think she might be president-elect of MASC. Very active in MASAC as well.
Well, she's been the leader. She's been the leader in our district for MSAC for a number of years now, and she's very good.
Is she president-elect, Joyce?
I wouldn't. I don't know.
She's one of those, and I know she's in the.
Yeah, she might be president-elect.
Yeah, I think she is. So
nice person.
Very nice. Oh yeah, we spent time with her at the conference, MASC conference. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the conference. Yeah. So it does require approval of the school committee of the member district.
I make a motion that we approve the name change and to the Keystone Cooperative, and approve the presentation of their new the agreement for 2020.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Michelle, do we need to vote on that MOU?
I don't think so because it's already signed. We
Okay.
gave Dr. Malone the authority to negotiate it.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that correct, Dr. Malone?
Yes, remember that you had given me yes.
All right, so we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Malone.
Okay, thank you. Just a few updates this evening. Phase 3 of remote learning. Most of you have parents in the district, but for those who are not, I did link the guidance document that was sent to parents on Monday. So basically, everything that we've been doing remains the same, except that for Phase 3, the Department of Education, under the direction and leadership of Commissioner Jeffrey Riley, identified what they're calling prerequisite standards. Some people refer to them as power standards or essential standards, but these are the standards that are identified by grade level in ELA, math, science, and social studies as being essential, critical to preparation and readiness for the next grade level. So the we have, you probably have seen them. They're included in this guidance document. They're on a HLR site. We disaggregated them by grade level and by content area, so we wanted it to be easier for parents and also easy for our teachers. So that's the biggest shift, and so the change that you would see as a parent will be that lessons developed from, we launched this today, Tuesday, May 5th. It'll be in effect through June 12th. And so the teachers will be guiding their lessons, if you will, around these standards. And I always give a simple example of one of the learning standards in kindergarten would be that kindergarten, by the end of kindergarten, would be able to identify upper and lowercase letters of the alphabet. So that's a standard. And of course, that's, you know, the beginning stages of readiness to read. I didn't know if anyone had any questions on this. The next phase, the commissioner is calling is phase 4. And that phase will be on the re-entry next fall and probably summer learning and some other pieces. So it won't change the actual learning piece of this remote learning. This will be the third change iteration, if you remember. Phase 1 was the enrichment of activities. Phase 2 was the reinforcement of standards that were taught prior to the closure, and now phase 3, we have these people, whatever really gives you meaning, prerequisite, essential, power standards that are basically readiness standards for the next grade level that each student should master in each grade level. Does anybody have any questions on that before I go on? Okay. We also, in addition to the guidance document that was sent out to parents, we also created a similar, document for the teachers. I meet weekly with the teachers on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and it's pretty much full participation. And so the document we gave the educator guidance document, we distributed last Tuesday so they'd have a chance to read and process. And then we talked about it at the faculty meeting, and I think it's pretty clear to teachers. If you go onto the HLR site, many of the teachers have updated their template and have identified that we're now in phase 3. This is the time frame, and things might look a little bit different, and so the learning will get more robust or rigorous. Okay, all set. The district parade, I don't have to tell you, was a huge success. It brought much needed joy to all in the district, and we couldn't have timed it better because we had timed it for during April vacation. I said, people still knew it was April vacation, so we could, bring some happiness during the vacation. But of course, the governor made the announcement that school was closing. We had the parade the next day, so I thought it was perfect timing. And I do want to publicly thank the Air and Shirley Police Department. I mean, they did such a fabulous job in both towns. They set the routes, they led us through the town, and the fire departments in both Air and Shirley also joined in. And then again, we also want to thank the Air Town Manager, Rob Pomprian, and Shirley Town Manager, Mike McGovern, because without their approval of using the town's resources, this would not have been possible. So really want to thank them. And maybe we'll gear them up for another one. High school graduation. So we're working with Mr. Christie very closely. We know that the preference for parents and students is to have a live graduation. Mr. Christie will be sending out guidance on this, but right now, as you know, when you have a live graduation, you have vendors, you have chairs, you have stage rentals, there's other pieces, the sound system. So first step was to secure dates with the vendors, and then we'll be sending out what we hope if we can have a live graduation. Of course, none of us have any further guidance on how this is going to be handled after May 18th in the Commonwealth. And so it's very difficult to plan when you don't have information or guidance. And this certainly isn't a criticism of the government, anyone. We all understand. So we're doing our best. We probably expect there'll be social distancing. We're pretty sure that'll be in place. So what does that look like as well? So I ask for patience, because it's not something that you can just plan and send something out, because whatever you send out, you want to be sure you can do. And so we have several dates for the live, and then if we can't, we have a plan B so that we wouldn't delay graduation any longer. So I think it's shaping up to be a really good plan, and a plan that's going to work, whether it's plan A or plan B. The other thing I wanted to point out, last day for seniors is still May 28th. It is on our school calendar. And that day is regulated by Mass General Law, CO3 CMR, and it's under the student learning time regulations. Seniors may be released up to 12 school days before the school's regularly scheduled 180th day. So we usually use the 181st day here. So that hasn't changed, so seniors will be finished on May 28th. The virtual scholar luncheon. Last week we would have had a big luncheon with about 30 participating districts honoring top scholars in the senior class, but of course it was canceled, and Mr. Christie set up a virtual celebration. We honored Will Shilp and Kristen Harder. And it was really nice, and the families were really grateful, and they had some of their extended members in attendance, and it went well. And the big news is the MIA Student Athlete of the Month. We just got, this is fresh off the press, that Dana Maloney of East Shirley was selected as MIA Student Athlete of the Month, and I've linked the press release. Mike, if you could just click on that 1 second, please.
Nice.
So yeah, isn't that nice? Yeah, he's a 3-sport athlete for East Shirley, participating across country, indoor track, and outdoor track. He finished his career as one of the most competitive distance runners East Shirley has ever seen, according to his coach and English teacher, Chris Donovan. So, very nice. So, good for Dana. And I think he just got his Eagle Scout.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's had a pretty good week. I think it was last week, wasn't he? Didn't he get his Eagle Scout last week? It was in the.
I think it was,
I'm sorry.
yeah, we haven't had the presentation yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I know his mom put it on Twitter. So anyway, so congratulations to Dana Maloney. East Shirley continues to be in the news and stay in the news, which is a good thing. And then just a couple of facilities updates. Does anybody have any questions on that? On Dana, you have it to read in full.
Just real quick, have you changed the graduation date?
Oh, we're going to, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That seems to be what's happening, so.
Yeah.
Again, I've read so many different things.
I know, yeah, we haven't put it out because, we don't want to just write, we can't have it, so we're trying to, be clear and, do with the students. Just a few facilities update. The new parking lot at the high school. Bill, we're getting bids this Friday.
Yes, Friday at 10 is a bid opening.
you want anything more about it? So it's well underway. Mark Wetzel, the DPW superintendent here, did a lot of work in helping us with that.
Correct. They did all the specs. Of course, they'll be tying into the infrastructure from the town of Air's wastewater drainage. So it's very key that they're involved, and they've been a big help with the bid documents, and they will be going forward as well.
Yep. So we're pleased with that. And then the boiler at Page Hilltop, where that work is underway, it started. Bill, you want to give that update, please?
On the
Boiler.
Hilltop boiler replacement, we had planned on, we encumbered $115,000 from FY19 to move forward into 20 to start with the replacement. When we started talking about, we had George Cruz come in, his company, as an engineering firm, Bala Engineering. They came in and we sat down and brainstormed with them about what would be the ultimate fix for the heating system at the Page Hilltop. And we all agreed that taking the steam loop in the lower building out of commission is the best way to go. So it's a 2-phase boiler replacement. We would replace the upper Hilltop boilers. There's Cleaver Brooks oil-fired boilers in there now. We would replace those with 2 gas-fired efficient boilers, and then we would connect the lower building to those loops. The 4th and 5th grade wing is already connected to those boilers up there, so we would only need one more loop in the lower building that would do the administrative wing, part of grade 2 and 3, and then the gymnasium and art and cafeteria. So it's probably going to be a 2-year phase in. So we have the design engineering going on right now.
Yeah. So that's underway. And then any questions on the parking lot of the boiler? Okay. Jim, this is for you. The chimney at Page Hilltop.
I saw it right the first thing I saw. That's good.
Got to
news.
zoom in on that.
And so all of a sudden, Bill, go ahead. Bill and I get a picture from Bob Briggs. I'm like, how did you get that done? And he wrote that. Actually, let me look at my phone. A parent came up. But bear with me 1 second. I just want to call up the text from him. It was so, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how did you get that done? It looks so much better. He said, oh, wait a minute, it goes to me and Bill. A parent that has a power washing business, he came by several weeks ago to offering to sanitize the playground, and then he showed him the chimney. And then remember, we called in a couple of companies, Mr. Quinty, and they said, no, well, we'd never be able to get that off. So anyhow,
There you go.
that was for you.
Bonus.
It looks great.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, great. So, and then 2 last quick things that aren't on the report. I just wanted to, I stand to be corrected. I think I reported to you that the town meeting in Shirley was on June 23rd, but it's the annual election. They still have not set the annual town meeting yet. I spoke at length with Town Administrator Mr. McGovern on Friday. And then just a couple other things about the district. You know, I think we've had some exciting things going on. This week is Spirit Week. Last week we delivered signs to the seniors. The ASRSD PTO rented a big sign that's in front of the middle school for the Teacher Appreciation Week. This is Teacher Appreciation.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, that was from them. So that came out really nice. Teacher Appreciation is May 4th through May 8th. And then we're also going to participate in this National Field Day. And parents probably got some emails today updating you on how that's going to operate in the district. So we're really trying to do as many activities and engage the whole district and, you know, create spirit and enthusiasm and have our students participating in some fun things. And that completes my report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Dr. Malone?
Yeah, I don't know if this is even remotely possible. You know, you take a look at Mr. Maloney, who has clearly done a phenomenal job in distance stuff, and you'd like to give somebody that at that level a shot at, you know, records for our school. You know, and being deprived of that in his senior year is very difficult. I wonder where he's a distance runner, whether we could have Mr. Donovan time him in and maybe Mr. Shilpin, one or two of his events, even though he's not going to be running against anyone other than the clock, it could certainly be included as part of our school best awards. He should, I think if there's a way to do that, I think we owe him that opportunity.
Sure. I will look into that. I want to say, I think he broke the school record.
Indoor.
Hmm?
Yeah, I think he did for indoor.
Yeah, okay. So I will look into that, Mr. Quinty, and report back to you on it. That's a great suggestion.
I'm
Okay.
almost positive too that because of the outdoor season being canceled,
Yeah.
his indoor time qualifies him for the outdoor nationals.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll look into it and I'll get back to the committee
Great.
on that. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Questions for Dr. Malone? All
Um,
right.
Yep,
Oh,
hold on, me real quick,
sorry.
sorry. No, so I just want to say thank you to Mr. Christie and Dr. Malone for doing the signs last week. I thought those were awesome. Seeing the pictures on Twitter were just, I think I spent about 20 minutes just scrolling through to see all the pictures, and I just loved it.
That was
So
awesome.
thank you. Yes, so thank you for doing that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, have we done any outreach to our families coming in for the fall, kindergarten families, about, just a reach out to say hello, and we'll let you know what's going on for screenings and that sort of thing, or if there's any, resources we can sort of set up for them beforehand to get them maybe doing some apps or something that the kids might do over the summer or whatnot.
Sure, great suggestion. I know we're trying to get kids registered. We
Okay.
sent out information, but I will certainly take that up with Mrs. Hamel, our director of early childhood, and it's a great suggestion. I know that typically we'd be doing some of the screenings this year, for K students, but obviously we can't do that. So I will give you an update on that as well.
Yeah, no worries at all. I mean, finish out the school year and get that stuff done. I've just seen a few people. I'm one of them that has a soon-to-be kindergartner, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple other people ask what may be happening with screenings or just sort of get to know you stuff for over the summer. So if any of that stuff we can do as outreach, that's always helpful, I think.
I think isn't the kindergarten's favorite part of school bus ride?
Probably.
Probably.
It
That
is.
and being able
the
to
only
buy
reason they
milk
go.
every day.
Yeah, it's been part of the orientation of the kindergartens, and they get a little bus ride.
Oh yes, and
Yeah.
Miss Lewis hops up on the bus with a guitar and sets a pretty high bar for those bus drivers.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'll bring that back as well.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good suggestion, Jonathan.
Yeah, excellent.
Anybody else? All right, we're going to move on to our ongoing business. Item A, approval of the 2020-2021 school committee meeting schedule. Dr. Malone.
Sure, I presented the schedule at the last meeting, so I didn't know if anybody had any changes they'd like to propose or think we should make at this time, or whatever the will of the committee is. I believe it's in the drive, Michelle. Town.
Yes.
Okay. You want to bring it? Would you like us to bring it up again, or?
I actually had to go back to the last meeting's drive. If anyone, I don't know, it might be in this times, but I didn't see it.
I couldn't find it in this one.
Oh, okay.
I added it earlier this evening.
So, Mike, can you pull it up, Mr. Tebow?
Yeah, let me take a look. I didn't see it, but let me check right now.
Okay.
Yeah, coming up. Hold on.
Thank you.
Can you guys see that or no?
Not yet.
Not
Not yet.
Okay. Let's try this again.
There we go.
Yeah. So to review, our first meeting would be August 19th, starting in the middle school library on a Wednesday, following the schedule of the first Tuesday of the month and third Wednesday of the month. 2 meetings in September, 2 meetings in October, 2 meetings in November, 2 meetings in December, 2 meetings in January, 1 meeting in February, which has been our typical schedule due to the vacation, and that Wednesday falling during that time. And as we've always noted during, that's our budget time, and so we always can add meetings if need be, and it's the will of the committee. 2 meetings in March, 1 meeting in April, again, the Wednesday, I believe, is the vacation in April, 2 in May, and 2 in June.
Anyone have any comments, questions?
Longing for the day we're back in person doing these.
Zoom is kind of fun.
Hey, there was an article, I shouldn't say hey, I'm sorry, having a conversation, but there was an article today, I just read it in the Globe about town meeting. It was quite an interesting, and so it's talking about the town meetings. I think they've been going on now for about 374 years, and it gave the history of how they started and how, that the participation is fairly low in a lot of towns because of it's in the evening and all the commitments. And anyhow, the whole article was about, would town meeting now go to remote town meetings? Anyhow,
I would. Oh my God.
it was very interesting to read the history and the origin of town meeting. Back in why they had town meeting. It was pretty interesting. If you look it up in the Globe, it's pretty good.
Are you guys prepared to approve this meeting schedule? I'll entertain a motion if that's the case.
I make a motion that we approve the schedule as written, and of course, always our understanding is that this can be adjusted at any time, but this is what we need for public notification.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to item B, naming of the Air Shirley Regional High School Media Center in honor of Mr. Don Parker. Mr. DeForge.
Thank you. So we've, back in March, we took a motion to move along with a 2-month plan here. We solicited public feedback, got a little bit of that, or one of those in addition to this letter. So we've been waiting a month to allow us to consider this nomination. So at this time, we can have discussion if necessary. Otherwise, I think it's just someone needs to make an official motion.
Make a motion to accept Donald Parker's naming of the media center at the high school. Make a motion to name the media center at the high school after Don Parker, former principal of Air High School.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
I think it says something here about a banner, but I think where the entrance is there from the main hallway, a nice little small plaque saying Don Parker Media Center would be permanent. A banner sounds like something that's going to come and go, so it's, not very fitting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can, I have no doubt that the high school administration, if this passes, can come up with something appropriate and long-lasting. As Mr. Quinby has mentioned before, it's always good that we have a brief history here of what made this person deserving of the nomination. So certainly, Mr. Frost has done a lot of the work for us and for various people, but I think we can come up with a nice plaque that fits in there somewhere.
Definitely. Anyone else? Any other comments?
I think the the most amazing or surprising thing for me with Mr. Parker, because I was there when he was just a newbie in the school. He was just a social, not just a studies teacher. He was a social studies teacher. Is that after doing 30 or 40 years in the school, that you would get off and purposely join the school committee in Shirley? That's, I think, pretty rare. You think after 30 or 40 years, it'd be time for a little time out, but he just used his time and talent as an independent citizen to further education in the community. So I cannot think of anyone who would be more deserving of this honor.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
I had written down, a plaque. I think that was part of what we've been talking about, both naming, and we'll also have a dedication. So I'll work with Mr. Christie, and we'll get that scheduled and established, and of course, write the school committee. Okay?
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So unless there's other comment, I'll take a vote. All those in favor of naming the Air Shirley Regional High School Media Center in honor of Mr. Don Parker, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Great. That's a wonderful honor for Mr. Parker. And, I'm happy to see that this will come to fruition. So thank you, everyone.
He'll be thrilled.
All right. So we're going to move on to the Air Shirley Regional High School Program of Studies. Dr. Malone, if you want to.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I asked Mr. Christie to be on the agenda this evening. He, in working through the high school, he's in year 2. It was noticed that we didn't, the program of studies did not have a really substantive description of dual enrollment and such. And so Mr. Christie wrote it up with his team, and so he's going to request, he's going to go over it with you and request that the school committee vote to add it as an addendum, if you will, or addition. And then he's going to give some good news on the high school award. So, Mr. Christie.
Thank you, Dr. Malone. Perfect intro. Yes, we had noticed in going through the program of studies that we didn't really have a great description for dual enrollment. So I worked with the school counseling team, Dr. Meyer, and we came up with something that we think is fitting for students who are looking to enter our dual enrollment program. So I believe that was passed along to you earlier today. If not, I'm happy to read it aloud. But it's a pretty comprehensive list of what we're looking for students who are looking to dual enroll.
Mr. Tebow, would you be able to bring that up, please?
I actually don't have it, Mary.
Oh,
I don't recall receiving anything to put in the drive.
all right, hold on.
Dr. Malone, if you want to share the screen with me, I can bring it up.
Okay, that would be Mike.
Yep.
Mike, can you do that, please? Yeah.
Yep, hold on.
Sorry, Michelle, I thought I sent it to you, but maybe I didn't. I guess I didn't. No problem.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Can everyone see the dual enrollment now?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you. So the first part of this is really just a preamble. It talks about what students can do, the benefits of dual enrollment for the high school and for the student. So this would be open for juniors and seniors at the school. We then established both eligibility requirements as well as enrollment procedures that students would use for entering dual enrollment. Right now, we often partner with Mount Wachusett Community College as well as Fitchburg State, although other options are available for students. So we wanted to leave some flexibility in there for students that are looking to pursue college courses outside of those two schools. Both Miss Sweetland and Miss Giambanco are going to be part of the process. So students would meet with them, would go through an approval process. Paperwork is now being drawn up for how that would look. Meeting with the student, their families, explaining all the options so that students have a full understanding both of the commitment they're making and of the possible outcomes.
may I ask a question, Madam Chair?
Sure.
Mr. Christie, so how, so we have the process. How will students be informed of the opportunity and what courses they'd be able to take? Is there the Mount will send those over? Just wondering about that piece of it. I mean,
So
that wouldn't be in here, just as a question.
Yeah, excellent question. So we started by informing students of their dual enrollment possibilities at our junior assembly that was held. Thankfully, we were able to hold some of our assemblies before we left school. So for sophomores and juniors, the possibility was brought up at both of those. Additionally, we plan on soliciting the Mount for further descriptions of courses that students will be able to take and pass those along to students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This looks great.
Thank you. So
Anybody
our hope is that we can take this wording and insert it in the 2020-2021 program of studies.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Christie?
Yeah, just real quick, is this intended for them to be full-time college students or just like one or two supplemental classes?
Both. We wanted to leave the options fairly flexible for students. We do have some students that tend to almost full-time at the community college level, where most of their credits transfer over directly. However, they still graduate from Air Shirley. Last year, we were very fortunate. We had a student earn both her associate's degree and high school diploma. I actually think she earned her associate's degree before officially graduating from us. And what was really an incredible honor for us. And that student's now going on to really great things. So this is for students who are looking for a little bit more for their high school experience.
Cool.
I think that student is the daughter of a very own special ed director, Kelsey Bozak, which quite an accomplishment. I think she's the first student that graduated from Air Shirley with that accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad that the state doesn't subsidize it fully like they used to. When I was in high school, we went for free to state colleges, just had to pay for books. So it's too bad because it's a great program.
Agreed.
Well, it's good that this will, put that word out more to students that we have this available, because it really is a great program, and the more students that know about it that want to take advantage of it, the better. So,
Thank you.
anybody else with any questions? So, we're looking to insert this in the program of studies. Is that correct? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion that we approve inserting this language into our program of studies.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Christie.
Thank you. And I have one really exciting announcement, as Dr. Malone alluded to. The U.S. News and World Report has named Air Shirley Regional High School one of America's best high schools. For Massachusetts, we are now ranked number 99 in the state, and that's out of 374 schools, which places us in the top 29th percentile. We also rank number 2,466 in the country, which places us in about the top 15% out of 18,000 schools.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is the fourth, it's not consecutive, but this is the fourth time we've been awarded this from US News. But this ranking, we pretty much stayed in the same ranking, but we've moved up slightly, so that's really good, particularly in the state. Because what were we last year? The last time, because I think you said 107 or something around.
Oh, we were at over 200 last year, so this was a fairly significant move.
Yeah, I thought you said, yeah.
So what's the number now?
Number
99.
99.
99.
Yeah,
So we're in the top 100 schools in the state.
yeah.
Which we haven't been before, correct?
Correct.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
It must be that new principal we got.
Be careful, he'll ask for a raise.
Well, before we move on, actually, I really want to thank publicly. We had a group of parents come to the high school to thank our seniors. And very lovingly, they spelled out Seniors 2020 and with giant hearts. It really was an absolutely wonderful act. Madam Chairman, I know you were part of that, along with several other parents. In a year that's been kind of tough for our kids, it was really a loving gesture to them, and can't thank you enough.
Thank you. I will add, it wasn't just me. It was Kathleen Preston and Brenda Magno. And with full disclosure, we stole that from Lunenburg High School's idea. But we loved it and wanted to do it. And I won't tell you how we got inside the tennis court.
We're not asking.
Oh, I'm going to have to tell Bob Briggs because we just had to lock it up again. So apparently,
We didn't deal with the door or the lock. Let me just tell you that.
hopping the fence. Good
I
idea.
won't tell you who scaled the fence, and it wasn't me.
Well, that's the fun part, right? No, but
Oh my God. I have photo evidence.
Yeah, that's fun. Great. Mr. Christie, there's no vote on the best high school award. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, that shouldn't be there. But you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't. I forgot that you were on the call earlier when we were talking about the pass-fail at the high school. Do you want to talk a little bit about the fourth grade? Because I think that you're accounting part of it. If you just want to explain.
Yeah. So, thank you, Dr. Malone. No, we. So Ms. Simmons, I know you had asked where we have this. This is our end of the year document, where we have it actually a separate section for it. What we're looking for is students who will either pass or fail the fourth quarter. This will have 10% of their overall grade. This has almost no correlation with how it will affect GPA, class rank, etc. Mr. Tebow, thank you very much. Actually went through calculations with me and Rediker as we could look for it. Pass will end up being a 100. A fail will be 59%.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And 59 has been, 60's been a failing grade at the high school anyhow, right? Yeah, so we kind of kept it in the line.
Correct.
Year under, yeah. So thank you. I'm sorry. I should have thought to call on you. I apologize.
No worries.
Explain that.
Is it too early to ask how many graduates we're going to have this year?
I think we are at, including out of district, I believe it's 107, but I can check on the exact number for you in one moment.
No, it's just a nice number to hear. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Since you're speaking, Mr. Christie, I do want to thank you as the parent of a senior who did get their yard sign. They're fantastic. They're really well done. And the personal deliveries and the personal messages that were on the signs really meant a lot to the seniors and to their parents. So I just want to pass that along to you and to your staff to thank you on behalf of the senior class.
Thank you. We had some unbelievable helpers. And I believe at your house, Dr. Malone actually was the person who delivered it.
Yep.
I took a pretty nice picture afterwards as well.
That was the Quinties. I rang and tooted to no avail. I had Dana Maloney, and then when I got to the Gleasons, they were not able to come outside. They said we're still, They said we're not picture ready right now. I said, fine. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I know everyone. I know Mr. Cleary delivered, and quite a few teachers. So it was a good effort by everyone. And thank you for organizing it, Mr. Christie.
Thank you. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I may have missed this at some point, but what is the story with AP testing?
Great question. AP's actually changed their format for testing. They're now going to have 45-minute online tests for a lot of the exams. It's really one open response question. Those are going to start in on May 11th. and phase 1 runs through May 22nd. They then have a second period of time for students who can't make the May 11th through May 22nd testing period. Students are able to answer directly online. They can write down their answers on a piece of paper and send it in via PDF. So we've inserted actually a fair amount of language that they've sent along to us as well on that end of the year document. I know they've invested millions upon millions of dollars in security screening at this point to try to make this happen.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other questions, comments for Mr. Christie? Okay, well, congratulations again to the high school on this fantastic award. We are proud of our high school. Thank you.
Yeah, we're ordering a banner because they get you. They say, oh, we want this banner. So we are ordering it. And Mr. Christie's ordering it. So that'll be for all to see.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And can I just go back before we move on to the naming of the media center? Did we say how we were going to notify Mr. Parker of our decision, or did we discuss that at all?
No. Do you want to write a letter?
Sure.
Do you want to invite him to the next school committee meeting? We could talk about it, whatever is the will of the committee. You could call him tomorrow. Someone could call him. I wrote down to notify certainly George Frost because he's been asking. He probably doesn't know, I know he's still in Weymouth, and I'm sure everybody's a bit discombobulated these days about keeping up with things. So whatever is the will of committee, I can do, or whatever you would like.
I think if it were, go ahead.
I think a letter from the school committee and a phone call from either Michelle or yourself, Dr. Malone, would be appropriate.
Okay.
Or both.
Yeah.
And I think you should
Definitely a letter from the committee.
Yeah, I think you should also tell them that we will not have a virtual dedication ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
actually,
We can wait. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So letters and calls. So Michelle, I can talk to you tomorrow or whatnot, or however you would
Yep.
like. I mean, 2 calls. I think that's great too.
Yeah.
And then we'll let them know that we will have a dedication. We have to order the plaque anyhow, so that takes time and things right now getting ordered. Michelle does a great job with that, Michelle Town, but everything is taking longer. So
yeah. It would be nice to do something in person with him anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure Stanley would want to come, so he would want to do it when we know what we're doing.
Right.
As a state.
Back now, no one would see it for 4 months anyway.
Right. So it'll be a while. Okay. Sounds great.
Okay. Sorry to go back to that, but I just wanted to make sure we had that decided on.
Sure. Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to item 8E, update on the fiscal year 20 and 21 budget. Mr. Plunkett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. FY20, we have a lot going on. As of today, we have an uncommitted balance in the general fund of $669,000. A lot of that is residing in a couple of accounts. First one is sped tuition for residential tuitions. There's $310,000 remaining in that account. Health insurance, we have $149,000 remaining, and sped transportation, we have $81,000. And then there's a bunch of lines with smaller amounts. The transportation is still up in the air. As you know, we're negotiating with D-Bus on a payment to cover their fixed cost while we're closed and they're not transporting kids. It is a negotiation. D-Bus has disclosed their financials to the negotiating team that we have for our district, and they have made a proposal. Our negotiating team proposed 45%, which they feel would cover their fixed cost. Most of the other transportation companies that have settled are in the 75% range and even higher. So we'll have to see what D comes back with. That's going to change the amount that we have left over in that account, because we have $236,000 still encumbered for regular transportation. And if we're only paying 45% of that, we're going to be saving over $100,000 right there. So that would be added to the uncommitted balance as well. The same thing for special ed transportation. We're going to start negotiations with D and Vanpool the same way. All of the districts that have them as vendors will get together and negotiate with them, and it will be the same deal. So that's another, that may free up some more money as well on what we have encumbered left in sped transportation as well. In that number, we also have $205,000 encumbered for hardware replacement. So Chromebooks and other technology, we're going to spend out of the FY20 budget, $205,000 more on replacing that equipment, because we are seeing 7 weeks in, we are seeing a lot of Chromebooks being replaced and swapped out, and we want to. We don't know how many we're going to get back when we start school in the fall. So we're making that investment right now. We also have a couple of projects going on, as we spoke about earlier. The parking area, that's $115,000 is the estimate on that project, and we had initially thought we were going to pay for it out of cap stabilization. We might be able to cover that with the general fund budget for FY20. Same thing for the Page Hilltop boiler, with the design services coming in at about $29,000. We could pay for that out of the FY20 budget as well. We're going to instruct all the principals and assistant principals to be ordering supplies for next year from FY20, and we'll continue to pay down or spend down this uncommitted balance. We'll also move. We have several maintenance projects going on, carpeting at Page Hilltop and at the middle school, and we'll move expenses from choice back into the general fund to spend down some of those funds as well. And that was the Department of Revenue had come out with a couple of bulletins early on in the closure, and they were recommending that people do that, try to beef up their revolving funds. Our revolving funds are in good shape, really good shape, except for food service. Food service is, the expenditures are way ahead of the revenue for this year because of the closure, and we're continuing to pay the food service personnel. Right now, expenditures are at $496,000, and revenue was only $364,000. That does not include the March reimbursements, but that was only a half a month at regular reimbursement, and then half a month will be at the food distribution, which will be a lot less. So we're not expecting much more in the way of revenue coming in. So that has eaten into our beginning balance. We had a fund balance of $126,000 in food service to begin the year. So right now, as of today, we're at negative $5,000 in the food service fund. We continue to pay the food service personnel through the middle of June, 4 more payrolls. I anticipate that would be another $68,000, and the food service fund would be in a deficit of $73,000, which we would have to subsidize. We can't end the year in the red. So the general fund would have to subsidize that amount as well. Any questions on FY20? Okay.
Can I, Mr. Plunkett, I just have a few comments, if you don't mind. The transportation money, remember that the school committee approved the regional transportation reserve fund?
Mm-hmm.
And so Bill will, at, one of the next 2 meetings, once he works out those numbers, will be requesting school committee to approve the transfer. Correct, Mr. Plunkett, to that fund? Right, yeah. And then we have to use it for transportation next year. So the regulation is first in and first out. And the sped tuitions, we'll still be paying those tuitions though, because we,
Well,
Correct.
with the residential, we're really down on our residential tuitions out. I think we had one student,
yeah,
and those could be the most expensive tuitions. We had prior years, we had 2 or 3,
yeah.
and I think we were down to 1 residential student this year. So that's why there's so much money residing there. Our collaboratives are up, but we're able to utilize circuit breaker for that, and we have to use a certain amount of the circuit breaker reimbursement. It has to equal what we got reimbursed last year. We have to spend this year.
Okay, great. Thank you. So that's good that our residentials are down. We're keeping more students in district. And the last thing I was just going to say, Bill mentioned the carpet at the middle school. It's the admin offices. I don't know if you've been there recently, but the admin office is definitely the carpeting needs to be replaced. That's been overdue. And that's my comments. Thank you.
Okay. For FY21, there's a little more uncertainty. The state revenues are expected to be 3 to 5 billion lower than anticipated. That's going to trickle down to all the municipalities and districts. We are anticipating that we'll have our budget approved by the towns by the end of June, but the Department of Ed is advising us that they're going to go forward with preparing our 1/12 budget, which is 1/12 of no less than one of last year's total budget that was assessed to the towns. They will divide it by 12 and give us that on a monthly basis. They are going to consider one-time expenditures for July. If we have a lot of things we pay up front to take advantage of discounts. Middlesex Retirement has a very large assessment that we have. It's over $400,000 that we pay up front, and we get a significant discount. There's also they're going to take in exceptions for debt payments and other things like that. So we're going to be providing the DESE with all the information on our FY20 budget, our FY21 budget, and any expenditures we have that is one-time upfront costs, like the Middlesex Retirement Assessment, that we want to get in July. So we make sure we have enough startup money to go out of the gate in the month of July. We can also use E&D. The FY19 E&D can also be used for the FY21 budget. We're going to be watching for the House Ways and Means budget coming out soon, hopefully. And if that changes the required local contributions at all, we will have to take a look at the budget and see if it changes it significantly, if it changes the assessment significantly. And they're not expecting any 9C cuts this year. We've heard over and over. But for next year, there's definitely going to be deficits in the revenues for the state. So we may want to consider use of E&D as we get closer and we get guidance from the House Ways and Means budget, see what they come up with. If it's going to be completely off of the governor's proposal, we may have to recertify, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
Any questions on FY21?
Just a comment, if I might, Madam Chair.
Sure.
The whole uncertainty of, and certainly the drop in sales tax revenue in the state, and probably the demand that's being made on unemployment. And I think when we talk about our food service and keeping that up to snuff and giving us some leeway to help families who are not going to have those jobs that aren't going to come back. So I think of us being fiscally conservative as much as we can, and maybe I don't have the list in front of me, but some of the optional things that we were going to take out of some of our E&D that we had, I think we maybe should put those on hold to see how the year is going to shape up. So I think there's some things we might want to look at carefully and be very fiscally conservative, because I think we're going to have demands that no one has really anticipated. it will change and we will come out of it, but there's going to be an interim time because the drop in sales tax on the state revenue is huge, and all the meals tax and everything are all gone. So I think we have to keep a very close eye on it. I don't know what everybody else feels.
Anyone else, any comment?
It's just going to be interesting to see, you know, how it's all going to shake out really quick, isn't it now? Once the budget gets approved, we have to approve it, react to it. Short timelines.
Yeah, it's really going to get condensed really quickly.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions for Mr. Plunkett?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Plunkett, for the updates.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to item 9, subcommittee reports. Policy AAA, policy audit and council. Mr. Quinty.
Right. So in front of you tonight, you have something we had in the last meeting. If you go down to the you can see there were some minor corrections that were made, typographical issues, and we added a paragraph based on Mr. DeForge's recommendation. School committee members have an extensive and varied educational experiential skill set. It is important to guarantee that this most valuable asset of aspect diversity is applied to the policies deemed critical to the district. Primary and secondary audit assessments must be rotated through the committee membership. So that's the addition based on John's input. I think it's well taken.
So the question marks is being replaced with rotated?
Yeah, rotated. That was Michelle's attempt to read my scrawl. So she did do that well is pretty outstanding. So I'll give her that one.
All right. Anybody have any comment, questions?
I think I have a question. So, so the committee elects the controller here, comptroller. Excuse me,
Right.
let
That's
the P
right.
out.
That whoever the controller is will be basically administering this policy.
Okay. So, and then is there a periodic report from that member as to the progress that's being made?
Well, all updates will be routed through the superintendent's office, but I think it has in here the on item 2, the controller is responsible for administering the details of this policy and communicating progress to the committee on a semi-annual basis. And I'm sure pretty much, I think we're going to be in a place where, you know, policy review will be a standing item on the regular school committee meetings. And if there's additional updates required, that would certainly be supplied at that time.
Well,
But
if there's any
the controller
changes,
would be right.
if there's any
And that
changes or
would just come
alterations,
up.
they have to be revoted, right?
That's right. That's right. So this is just a way that we find problems in policies before problems in policies find us. So we have a constant review. We can say with the surety that in a 2-year period, the 30 most important policies to the district will be reviewed, and in a 5-year cycle, every single policy of the district would have been reviewed.
So Jim, can I ask? Sorry, go ahead. Were you saying
yes,
something?
go ahead.
No, I was going to
No.
say, so conceivably, like, how would you see this? Like, the comptroller assigns each of the 5 members, not the chair, but the other 5 members, the policies
Right.
that they'll be reviewing.
Right. So what would happen is, like, you know, since, you know, if were I to campaign for this position as comptroller and be successful in this, then I would take the entire list of policies, the primary, secondary policies, and say, if we started in July, I would go to each one of the committee members and assign them a primary, two primary, two secondary policies, and 11 tertiary policies, and each member would have the entire year to go through
Okay.
those. And then it would be my job to monitor feedback, if any. Now, a lot of the things that you would look at, and that covers the entire year. So you may find that, one of your primaries and one of your secondaries and 8 of your tertiaries don't need any changes whatsoever. And that would just be reported back to me, and then I would have to update the changes with the superintendent's office. And then twice a year, I would present the progress to the school committee in total.
Okay.
If somebody found a problem, then, I'd review with them, and then we would talk to whoever the chair of the school committee was, saying, hey, look, as a part of review of this policy, we see a couple changes that need to be met. And then the chair could take a look at whatever they've got on their schedule and figure out an appropriate time to review the policy with the full school committee.
Okay. That's kind of what I was looking at, was wondering was timing, like how you'd foresee that timing. So that sounds good.
So Jim, so you said if somebody came with you with a change, then it would go to the superintendent's office, and then when does it come to the school committee?
No, it would go if
If you're proceeding a change.
If I assigned you a series of policies and you said, hey, Jim, I'm reviewing policy XYZ, and I see a number of changes that need to be made, and I would say, oh, okay, I'll talk to the chair of the school committee, and then we'll find out what their schedule looks like for the school committee meeting and find an appropriate time to talk about those changes with the full school committee.
Right.
The only time I'd be going to the superintendent's office would be if, say, at the end of summer, committee members report back and, they've taken a look at their policies and they have like 4 or 5 each that they see no problem with. I would take the list of those policies and update the master file. And then I'd have to work with whoever the school committee chair was to say, hey, look, we've got, a series of policies that we're going to have to do some updates. Some are more extensive than others. How would you like to work them into your schedule?
Into the school committee schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yes.
then should there be some law change or something that, and usually we are notified of those types of things by mask, we take those up separately, correct?
Clearly, right. Yeah. If the superintendent or the chair, got something from above, then that would just immediately go to the full school committee.
Right. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, I was going to suggest that because Mask will send, I think Michelle gets them too, updates to policy. And the other piece would be sometimes when we're working within the school system, we may look at a policy and say, whoa, gee, we need to update this policy because we haven't used it in a while. So of course we'd bring it, I'd put it on the agenda or, whatever process you want me to follow, but certainly that occurs from time to time as well.
Now, the superintendent and the chair at any point, they control the school committee meeting, so they could add any policy for any reason at any time.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And
Anyone else?
So the designation here of primary and secondary, and I think I'm missing the third page because I don't have tertiary. But looking at those, just glancing down on many of them are like the primary, they're basically the basic state laws. So I'm a little confused with some of the designation of primary and secondary. Is this done by the Massachusetts Association of School Committees?
No, this was, if you remember last fall, I put it out to the committee and people reported back on what they thought the most important and substantial policies in our manual were. And from the feedback I got back from the other school committee members, I boiled it down to these primary policies, which I describe as these policies safeguard the physical and mental health of every student, faculty member, and administrator, and a failure to adhere to these policies constitutes a breach of faith with the public trust. these primary policies will be audited on an annual basis. And then the secondary ones are also important. These policies safeguard the rights, duties, and environment required to effectively support teaching and learning. These secondary policies, 20 of them, are audited on a biannual basis. So that's basically input from the other committee members last fall, and then I took all of their input and boiled it down to these 30 policies.
So this could be fluid.
Yeah, and at any point somebody could say that I think, we should change 2 secondary policies to primary, or 2 primary to secondary, or jump 4 secondary policies to tertiary. At any point, anybody could bring that up and this could all be changed.
Any other questions for Jim? All right, Jim. So next step on this would be?
Yeah, I guess, if people take a look at this and think on it, I don't know if we want to, since this is a new policy, whether we want to wait to we're in person-to-person session, but I think it reads well. Unless somebody has a specific question, we could at some point read through this and put it to a vote, in which case after we did that, we would elect a controller and then we would just initiate the policy enforcement.
Okay. How do other members feel? I know the last time we talked about this, we talked about waiting until we were all in person again, but I don't know if people's feelings have changed and you want to try to maybe take this maybe at the beginning of June at our meeting so that we can start this for our next starting in July, or how you want to handle it.
I think it would be good to get this started for the next school year, which means we would have to really discuss and vote on this before the end of this school year, whether we meet in person or not.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else have any comment?
The only comment I would have is just if, page 1 and 2 are the policy, the next part of the packet is just a list of all the policies that are primary, secondary, and tertiary. They don't need to be part of the policy, but just as we're reading through this so that we can quickly reference it, it would be appreciative.
Yeah.
I think the one that jumped out at me was the approval of handbooks and directives. I think we approve the handbooks every year. And so I wondered why you wouldn't approve the policy for the handbooks every other year. Doesn't seem consistent if I'm remembering the policies.
Well, we'd be approving the information that goes out to the parents and students is critical. We're taking a look at the policy that creates and controls the dissemination of material that's in the handbooks and directives, not specifically the content of what's there. We're looking mostly from an overall standpoint on the policy itself. And I purposely left off a list of tertiary policies because right now there would be 274 of them. And I think trying to manage and maintain an accurate list of exactly what those are is more difficult. I thought it would suffice to say that if it's not a primary or secondary policy, then it would be considered tertiary. But I'm open to doing something different.
I'm sorry, I forgot that there were 274. I forgot the thickness of our policy manual there, so I don't need the tertiary ones.
There you go.
Actually, that's a little thin maybe for some policy books.
So can I just make a suggestion perhaps is that, so maybe what we do is take a look over the course of over the next month, take a look at what we've, Jim has highlighted as primary policies, secondary policies, and see how you feel about that. If there's any that, as you're looking over the policy manual that, we could have discussion if we wanted to change that from the get-go or just stick with this, but at least everyone could take a look at what these policies are. And then at our first meeting in June, we can take it up as a second read and vote on it then. Does that sound realistic to everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that would give everybody a month to kind of digest and look over the policies themselves. It's been a year since we looked over to draft the primary and secondary as we saw it. So maybe there'll be some that we look at that we might identify again, or just agree with this list and move forward. And then maybe just add a sentence at the bottom of the listing that says any policies not listed above as a primary or secondary policy shall be considered tertiary, or something to that effect.
Okay.
Well, is it possible, just like Jonathan had a nice addition here, is it possible that, I'm assuming that this does not limit any school committee member from proposing a review of any policy at any moment in time? And there's nothing here that says that.
No, anything can be brought up anytime. This is basically to make sure that there's something in place that has somebody reviewing the policies on a regular basis. That's all. It's all for existing policy, but if anybody had any concern on any of the policies, they could bring it up to the chair of the school committee and the superintendent and ask that it be added to the school committee meeting. That would have nothing to do with who the comptroller is. The comptroller is only looking at existing policies as a part of this review of council and audit. The school committee chair and the superintendent would control what's on the school committee agenda and what gets reviewed there.
All right. Is everyone okay now to move forward with that plan?
Yep.
Yep.
Any other questions before we move on? All right, let's move on to item B, policy IKF, graduation requirements. Mr. Quinty.
Okay, that please disregard. When I sent Michelle a long and tortured handwritten policy, which she did an outstanding job with policy, audit, and council, I had also severely marked up graduation requirements, but I must not. I thought I included it with the packet when I sent it to her, but I must not have. So I will send her a new marked up copy of IKE and IKF, and I'd like to have that added to the next meeting, but I would just not even review. I'd like to pull this one back at this point and take it up at the next meeting or a future meeting.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So item 10, no chairman's notes. Item 11, any other topics for discussion not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of this meeting? Hearing none. Communications, we have none, right?
Just that President hand race has been postponed till the fall.
Yep.
That is true. But I might add that they are doing a virtual President Hand Run on May
17th.
17th.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to go out and run, take a picture of themselves in their Janice Bresnahan shirt. I believe that there will be some incentive to do so, but that information will be forthcoming.
Who should we
Yes.
contact about that, Michelle?
About what?
About signing up for that?
Well, there's no sign. You mean for the virtual?
Yep.
You don't have to contact anyone. You can just take a picture and post it to the Facebook page.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Madam Chair, did you say May 18th?
Whatever that Sunday is, I think it's the 17th.
Yeah, it's the 17th, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's the 17th. They're accepting pictures for, I think, a week after that, and then they're going to raffle off some prizes. Some of the sponsors were nice enough to provide a donation.
So it's kind of a nice thing. Hopefully it'll be a nice day. With the weather on those days, you never know.
Doesn't
But-
have to be.
And they also ask, and I think this will be part of the communication that goes out, they ask that people, support the sponsors. For so many years, these local businesses have supported not only the Bresnahan Run, but our schools in general. And so if at all possible, we would ask that people return the favor and support those local businesses at this time. And that, I think, is it. Nothing else. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned at 8:19. Thank you.